What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Ango Show Live. It is Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. My name is Ango, and today we are joined by Billy TKO.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the show, Billy. It's been an eventful couple days for professional wrestling. We had a really good episode of Raw last night. We had some really big news yesterday with the news of Santos Escobar leaving WWE at midnight. It's just been a crazy week, and I feel like what makes it even crazier is now in Michigan we have cold weather. It finally feels like October, which for me I think is the best, because now I feel like I could just really start to relax and enjoy watching TV again, and relax and enjoy watching wrestling again. But obviously, it's been a very big night for professional wrestling news, and today we are going to talk a lot about it. But just considering the last 24 hours, plus tonight, we are going into a time period in which it's the Tuesday Night War, baby. Dynamite Title Tuesday versus NXT TNA Showdown. Just overall, what are your feelings? You know, last week we were talking about we were talking about professional wrestling, and you know there was just so much. I'm curious, just because it's been a couple days since we streamed. What's your overall viewpoint of wrestling currently today?
Happy. I think that would be like the number one thing. Obviously, last night was like such a good show for something that has been super lackluster over the last, like, we'll say, like, month or two or whatever. You know, obviously, give or take, you know, that's just me throwing out a number. But last night was really good. Obviously, tonight is a huge show. We have Showdown. It's Invasion. I'm calling it Invasion. So we have Invasion tonight, and then we have, obviously, Title Tuesday. So a lot to look forward to. You know, I'm personally somebody who's really been, like, keeping up with the TNA NXT thing. So truth be told, as great as yesterday was, I'm just as excited for tonight with NXT and everything that they have going on. But overall, my feelings towards wrestling, very simply, just, you know, now, like you said, it's like 60 degrees in Michigan. Finally feeling like I can relax a little bit, pull back the curtain a little bit. Don't feel like I have to rush all the time. Yeah, man, I'm happy. I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that, dude. It's crazy because we often talk about, like, you know, just like the summer in Michigan. It's like it just kept going on and on and on. And yesterday was like 80 degrees. Today I step outside, it's raining and 62, and I'm like, okay, this is what I love. Now it's time for cider mills. It's time for basketball season. Yesterday we had the Pistons' first preseason game. Obviously we had WWE Raw, and you know, one of the things that I really love about this time of the year is like you said, you could just kind of relax a little bit. And I you know, I feel like my tonality is starting to change a little bit, and I kind of want to talk about this because today we are talking about more WWE stars potentially leaving the company. I have some news that I want to share, some things that I've heard, some things that I'm, you know, you never know. It's a very weird thing. But right now, man, forget about what social media says because people won't do their research. But me and you have obviously been talking about it. It just feels like it's been kind of nice to enjoy professional wrestling. And when I say that, I feel like as a fan, you know, like as a fan, I genuinely enjoy the fact that like we've kind of been able to sit back and just relax and maybe not microanalyze everything. And to be honest, I haven't even really told you this either, but one of the things that I really want to do with our live streams, and I feel like we need to kind of innovate a little bit how we're doing things, or change things, how we're doing things a little bit. I want to be more casual with our conversation and more laid back and more relaxed and more community centric. And part of that is just, dude, we might not be micro analyzing absolutely everything, but I kind of want to get away from that because I already do so much of that in video format.
So I'm gonna interrupt you for a minute. As somebody who like makes daily wrestling content, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a tad bit like, it almost becomes tiresome to be constantly micro analytic, kind of like you said, like thinking into the numbers, thinking about who's doing what right or what's going, always pointing out technically what is wrong with these things rather than trying to just analyze the good. You know what I mean? Like, and granted, I'll still sit here and I'll just speak for myself under this tone, but I'll still, critique things when I feel they need to be critiqued. But overall, I mean, going into something, and sitting up for like 3 hours on a wrestling TV show and taking notes, and they didn't do this right, they didn't do that right, this was wrong, that was wrong, but this was good and that was good. That's no fun to me. It never has been. I don't get me wrong, micro analyzing is fun because I do it as a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this casual conversation, enjoying pro wrestling like how I did yesterday and how I will tonight, dude, I love that. It's fun.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I feel like it's kind of funny, like, just lately, the more that I peel back and sit back and like not be on Twitter all the time, it definitely did a change for me because I feel like I've been enjoying pretty much everything more.
Dude, I'm here to tell you, Twitter is like the worst.
Yeah.
And I mean legitimately like the worst, bro. It's not even kind of funny. Like, I look at Twitter as the cesspool of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
It's the cesspool of a lot of things, but that's for a different conversation. But truth be told, really, for wrestling, it's like, that's where you get like the worst kind of people. If you think about wrestling on like a day-to-day basis, imagine if you went and talked to like a friend who was maybe at a bar watching. I guarantee you it's not going to be the same conversation that you're seeing over on Twitter.
Yeah.
It just won't. Because human interaction is that much more important. So I don't know. I feel like Twitter will create an opinion for somebody rather than allow somebody to think for themselves.
Yeah, and I feel like that, I mean, that's 100% right. We have such a cool community, and there's so many cool people in the chat, and I feel like the ones who come into the chat and they add to the chat, which, by the way, shout out to the chat, but the guys and girls that come into the chat and they just talk about professional wrestling and they, whatever it may be, like, I love it. But then when I see people in the chat come in and it's like, dude, you're just spewing the tribalism thing. It's like, honestly, I want to remove you from the chat and I don't want to engage with you because it really does get annoying. And then you have a lot of the people who will be like, well, you guys are tribalists. Well, no, fuck you. Because just because we say something negative about one thing, it doesn't mean we're tribalists, And I feel like it's so easy in the wrestling space for a lot of creators. And I've seen this, we've never done this, but I've seen a lot of creators, they do try to, ultimately, at the end of the day, they try to pivot their opinions for the sake of popularity. And I feel like...
Yeah, pleasing the audience.
Yeah, that's never been a thing on this channel. And it's never been a thing with you and I doing our live show. And that's always kind of been the good thing is like, I don't want to do that. I honestly... I feel like a lot of people pivot to get the popular opinion. And I've been scolded so many times because I've had fantasy bookings that are like, in my eyes, they're cool, and people are like, it's garbage. And it's like, I don't mind hearing that feedback because it doesn't faze me. But that's the fun with professional wrestling. And by the way, me and Billy, we were fantasy booking. This was actually really cool. We were fantasy booking the Dakota Kai thing for AEW this week. Dude, that's a 70,000 view clip on TikTok. And I was reading some of the comments, and there's people who are like, yo, this is actually like a really fire idea. And then you have the people that are like, this is garbage, blah, blah, Dakota Kai's garbage. You have a lot of people spewing hate just for the sake of doing it.
Dude, my take on in our last live stream, talking about Dominic Mysterio, like that TikTok clip did so well.
Yeah.
Just sitting up talking about my personal thoughts on somebody like Dominic Mysterio that isn't necessarily true, and it was me just fantasy booking what the future of Dominic Mysterio looked like. Like, that's the fun in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And if you don't think there's an audience for it, I'm here to tell you, you're probably wrong. There is.
Yeah, I want to bring fun back to the professional wrestling community, and I'm going to try my best. And I know the microanalysis doesn't help that. And the reason why microanalysis doesn't help that is because I think it's so easy for people to just think it's tribalism. And, it's for me personally, it's never been tribalism. And, we've had this conversation of like, well, what does it mean to be biased? There is no such thing as us being biased. There's no form of payment that I'm accepting or anything. I don't see growth. I mean, financially speaking, like, this is me kind of peeling back the curtain a little bit, but like, financially speaking, if I was genuinely trying to make the most amount of money in the world, I would be trying to appease every wrestling company and their fan bases. I can't do that. Like, that would be fake, So
Right.
we've had that conversation a million times, but the reason why I wanted to start off kind of talking about this is because right now we're very laid back and we're talking. That's what I want our flow to be moving forward. I genuinely
Mhm.
just want to have fun with the live streaming and engaging with the audience and engaging with people. And I think there's a lot of people who, they review the shows and they go and they sit there and they talk about every single match and every single botch and every single promo. I can't do that, man, because I don't care. Like at the end of the day, I am a
No.
wrestling fan who shares my opinions on wrestling. You're the same way. And I just feel
Mhm.
like we are kind of at a stage where right now, and I'm noticing this in particular, this is the trend in professional wrestling. You could tell a lot by social media. But WWE
Absolutely.
right now is the greedy fucking devil, and AEW is the savior of professional wrestling. And like that's like the social media, quick opinion on what wrestling,
Analysis.
yeah, analysis, right? So like it's funny though because WWE, you have to have common sense. WWE is a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and they're gonna make everything for to make every dollar. And AEW is not on that level. And if they were, they would do the same exact thing because that's what businesses do. Tony Khan is a billionaire. His family owns several businesses. They don't get there by just being cheap. You gotta. So the thing is, it's like I feel like when you look into that and you kind of get warped into the social media climate, it's like, well, you have to pick one or the other. Personally speaking, I still don't think AEW is like that great, but I feel like they've made such an improvement, which is at least a little bit more enjoyable to watch, And I feel like
Yeah.
WWE was incredibly great, and they're kind of slipping through the cracks at certain points, And it's like, it's just how time is. We've had this conversation a long time ago. Not everybody's going to be perfect forever, and but the thing that I am loving right now is when you're not microanalyzing everything, you tend to just enjoy it and watch and relax and you're peaceful with it. And I think that's one of the things that I'm enjoying the most. And I'm enjoying that the most because right now is a very fun period in professional wrestling because there are more people leaving WWE. And let's just call it what it is. When more people leave the WWE or more people leave AEW, that's when wrestling's fun because now you have this opportunity to talk about people going to another company, debuting elsewhere, doing other things. And I kind of want to start off with this. I don't know if you saw, but for example, it's gonna weigh pretty heavily into our conversation today. The NWA, the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows are going to the NWA. And some people don't even think this is a big deal, but it is kind of a big deal because the NWA is a smaller company, right? And the smaller company is, they're it's so easy for somebody to leave WWE, for example, and go straight to AEW, or somebody from AEW go straight to WWE. But like the smaller companies like TNA, GCW, MLW, NWA, those companies, you don't typically see too much growth with signings. Now, in the past year or so, obviously we saw the departure of like Baron Corbin, for example. Baron Corbin was cut from the company. Baron Corbin is in MLW as Bishop Dyer. The Good Brothers are going to NWA instead of going back to TNA or back to AEW or back to New Japan, right? Then you have Karrion Kross, who is going to be returning to MLW in November. So you have Killer Kross returning to MLW, which is a relatively big deal because he could have easily gone to AEW instead, right? Then today we get the news, well, yesterday technically, Santos Escobar is leaving the WWE. And Santos Escobar is leaving the WWE. It comes out, multiple sources report that Santos Escobar is leaving the company. They offered him more money. It wasn't a money situation. So this wasn't a situation where TKO was being cheap. This was a situation where WWE offered him more money, and reportedly he wanted more creative freedom or some sort of creative plans moving forward. And WWE obviously cannot guarantee that for Santos Escobar. And that was basically why he made the decision to leave the company. Today, fast forward, and this was part of my video for today's upload, but TNA and WWE, obviously, like they're not owned by each other. So technically Santos could go anywhere. But the belief is that Santos will actually end up in AEW, and that's what people in WWE believe, which realistically, let's be real. If people in WWE believe he's going to AEW, more than likely he's showing up in AEW.
He's probably gone. Correct.
Yeah, so now we're in a situation where I think this is where wrestling's kind of fun because people get so attached to the brand itself. But I think one of the cool things about people leaving companies is like, okay, now this opens up doors to see what else people can do. If there's anybody who's ever been critical, it's me. You look at 2021, 2022, and you see people leave WWE and go to AEW, and I'm the first one to be like, damn, they didn't do shit with them. You know, like I'm critical of it. But then you see of like the wins, right? And what I mean by the wins is like the Swerve Stricklands, the Tony Storms, where it's like undeniable, bro. You get picked up by that company. It took a little bit of time, but then they figure it out, you know? To me, I feel like that's fun. Like right now, it's kind of fun to see. I mean, look at Jade Cargill, Ricky Saints. They went to WWE and like
WWE.
the WWE figured out some cool things. I don't have a problem with people leaving the company, but now there's talks of even more people potentially leaving WWE.
Right.
So let's talk about that for a second.
Let's do it.
The real reason why people are even leaving WWE in the first place, it has a lot to do with the fact that the pro wrestling climate right now, as it stands, is too saturated.
Yeah, I mean, I texted you yesterday because I remember you texted me something about a TV deal. I'm not sure if it's been announced or not. So, I mean, but we'll just use that as an example really fast. Ango had texted me something about a TV deal, and I said, you know, it's kind of crazy that here in 2025, you can get almost any singular pro wrestling company on any service, whether it be Peacock, whether it be Hulu, whether it be Netflix, whether it be Amazon, whether it be Apple TV. You know, there's so many different outlets for, you know, wrestling fans to go out and find their quote unquote favorite wrestling company, given that that's how you view wrestling, whatever the case is. There's numerous outlets for you to do so, and we kind of touched on it a little bit last week too in one of our live streams, maybe the week prior. But just the market of pro wrestling is very oversaturated now. For us as fans, it's tough, right? Because we're fans of pro wrestling, and we want to be able to catch pro wrestling as much as we possibly can. But truth is, you won't always be able to. So you pick and choose what ones you think are deemed fit for you to watch. And truth is, as much as it sucks maybe for us in that sense, you know, when it comes down to the wrestlers and the health of the business, it's a very healthy business. And people truthfully can't deny that. They cannot deny how healthy this business is. You know, talking about Santos Escobar, talking about, you know, the potential of him, you know, walking into AEW. If that's what he wants to do, sure, dude, let him. I can imagine, you know, maybe he figures out something over there that he's capable of doing. And it works out for him in the long run, dude. And if you wanted more creative control, rightfully so. You know, betting on yourself, I think, is the coolest thing that you can do. And obviously, Santos Escobar, he was utilized on TV and things of that nature. But in my personal belief, maybe he wasn't utilized to his fullest potential, right? So, and if he feels that he can get that opportunity somewhere else, nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? So, as much as maybe we can't, what's the word that I'm looking for? We can't fuel all of our wrestling needs as fans. It is healthy for the business in the sense of the pro wrestler themselves. They get paid. They can feed their family. Kudos to them. Awesome.
I think what's funny though is like if you go back in time, one of the things that, you know, this is the IWC nightmare because you go and AEW is now WWE Light. Just like TNA back in the day was WWE Light, right? Like that's like a thing that brought up. But I personally loved back in the day when like Christian Cage showed up in TNA or Sting showed up in TNA.
Oh yeah, like what, are you talking about? Are you talking about like early TNA?
Yeah, just not even early TNA, but even like 2010s, bro. Like people from WWE showed up there. You know,
when they just pop up.
They pop up and like it's like, all right, cool. What can you do with them? And like. Yeah, Kurt Angle, I mean, even says it himself. He's like, his TNA run was better than WWE. I personally
because if you really look back at the history, it was.
No, I personally don't agree with that. But like, here's the thing, though. No,
I do, and I'm not even the biggest avid TNA watcher, but that's the cool part. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but that's the thing, though. To me, is like I don't agree with Kurt Angle's own analysis there, which is fine. That doesn't matter. It's not relevant. But to me, it was like, dude, it was so different because Kurt Angle was like a whole different level in TNA from an in-ring perspective, but in WWE, I found him to be more entertaining, you know? So the thing is, it's like the idea that people naturally are going to leave WWE. And the thing that's like really tough about it, and we do got to get to some super chats, and I promise you guys I'll get to those. But to me, the way that I look at it is like when people see WWE talent going elsewhere, guys, they're the number one company. They have the biggest roster. They have the most money for the most roster. Like there's just, it's without a doubt people's goal. And this will never change. Honest to God. I don't feel like this will ever change. It will be an anomaly. Like, yeah, like Tekla, for example, was like, oh, it was my dream to go to AEW since the time I saw AEW. Yeah, most wrestlers growing up were like, hey, I want to be in WWE. There's a lot of people in AEW right now who currently exist whose goal in their dreams were to be in WWE. So the thing
Yeah,
is,
I mean,
people
look at
go
Mariah
to
May.
yeah. So like you go to WWE and doesn't necessarily work out. You have the opportunity to go elsewhere. I don't get mad at that. What I like to see is like, okay, what can you do? Like me personally, I'm not a big fan of MLW. I think MLW is a carny ass wrestling show. I think Court
Okay.
Bauer is like personally speaking from watching MLW, it's very well booked, but to me, it just seems like the way they run their business is very much like how I've
It's a little
seen.
all over the place.
It's not that. There's a lot of MLW is not even on the same spectrum as like PFL, but it's like MLW will do like these gimmicky things to make it look like they're doing bigger and better things, and it's not necessarily the truth. But it's a
Right.
very well booked show. And then the thing
Yeah.
that I saw, like I was watching this and I kind of got annoyed with this is like MLW, what's his name? Dario Cueto or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He's on there and he's talking about WWE taking blood money, blah, blah. And I hear him say that and it's like, bro, like anybody who's ever watched Court Bauer's MLW knows that like if they had the same opportunity, they would
They'd probably take it.
they'd probably do a lot
Well,
of
I
things.
think that's I think that's the world that we live in, though, is hypocrisy,
Well, no,
right?
but it's not even about that though, right? The thing is, when you
Yeah.
look at this wrestling companies, as somebody who's not even a fan of MLW, I want them to do well. Like to me, I think one of the biggest things about MLW that I personally did not like was they brought in Riddle, and I think the way they utilized Riddle was like stupid in my opinion. It's just a booking
Yeah,
decision.
what's he doing? I mean, I can't really have any judgment on MLW because I'm definitely not an avid watcher. But what did they do with Riddle?
It's just like it's utilizing Riddle. Like
Yeah, okay,
you have a lot of other talented people on their show, and then it's like you bring in Riddle, and he immediately goes on this world championship reign. And like there's other people there.
Okay.
There's other people you could have utilized. My point that I'm making though is what I love so much about the fact that MLW and all these companies exist is the fact that because they exist and because they're all doing something, whether it's different or whatever, the beauty of that is people can leave and get repackaged elsewhere, and you could kind of show the world what WWE maybe missed the mark with. And let's just call it what it is. There are certain people who hit their ceiling in WWE, they go elsewhere and they do not flourish. Sometimes the grass isn't always greener. We've seen this. And the truth is, sometimes the grass isn't always greener in WWE. It's a case by case situation based on the talent. So, for example, there is this belief that more talent are expected to leave WWE. I'm going to break this down for you and then I'll get your reaction. More WWE talent are expected to leave the company, and it's not because of money. What we're currently seeing right now as it stands in professional wrestling is WWE has an incredibly bloated roster. WWE currently has a system that is working. You have their top stars and you have the people that they personally want to groom for the top spots. At that point in time, they're willing to re-sign talent, but these talents are not going to be given the opportunity to headline WrestleMania unless they truly get over. Santos Escobar is a great example of this. He was over in NXT, comes to the main roster, gets thrown into the LWO. He's associated with Rey Mysterio, and it's still not getting over, right? This is now a situation where WWE, yeah, we will offer you a new contract. Yeah, we might offer you a raise, but what you're doing isn't currently going over with the fans. But like your guys like LA Knight, for example, you don't want to lose LA Knight because he's a merchandise mover. He's over, right? There's just a time period in which WWE knows what they have and how to utilize them. And for now, it becomes a very difficult task to push somebody else because they think they're better. And there's a ceiling on everybody. So I'm going to give you a good example. There is a name that's floating around. There is 1,000,000% no confirmation that he is leaving the company. Let me make that very clear. I'm not gonna bullshit anybody and say he's leaving. I don't want this to be a rumor that Ango started. This is something that's floated around. There's been this belief that maybe Otis could be next. right? I want to take Otis as a perfect example. He's an over talent.
Yeah.
He's fun to watch. Is there a reason why Otis should be pushed above Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, LA Knight, CM Punk, Seth Rollins? Does Otis really, and I mean this respectfully, Otis is his own thing. And I'm not saying there isn't a way to get Otis to the world championship scene or a mid-card title. I think it is possible. You could do some stuff. But the way he's been presented and the way he currently is on television, it's like, hey, you are a reliable talent where we know we could put you on TV. You are going to be great for the kids. You are going to be, people are going to love you. We're going to utilize you. That's it. Right? Now, I don't know 100% for a fact if Otis is leaving. Like I said, I don't want to stir up anything.
A rumor.
It's just things that
anything,
are being floated around that, oh, maybe he's next. But when I hear something like that, it's like the only reason why WWE would ever let go of Otis is if Otis says, I want more money, and WWE says no. But if you're Otis, you probably have to understand you're not going to be a main event player. Now, maybe organically you could get to that point, right? Maybe organically it can, but there is that issue that kind of stems from, hey man, like you're a utility player, we're giving you a role on TV, but your job,
it's understanding your role.
So that's the thing. And that's why more people are leaving WWE, because some people, like you said, I think you said it best, is like taking a bet on yourself. And if you want to,
because there's nothing wrong with that.
If you want to bet on yourself, you should. I think it's kind of pointless when people don't. But like this is a great example too. Like tag teams, for example, the Street Profits, they're probably going to break up this week in Australia, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of where it's headed. I really hope WWE has a plan, because I would really hate for them to break up the Street Profits and then the contract comes up and then Angelo Dawkins is like, I'm not re-signing.
So I'm just going to kind of jump in on the tag team thing. And that's kind of the biggest problem is what happens normally with WWE is they get these tag teams and you got, guys like Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins that are both two very talented, both exceptionally, over with the fans when it comes down to their tag team individually, right? Now, when it comes to the person, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, WWE, of course, because in any business, always has a little bit of favoritism towards one, right? My guess would be, and again, this is just my personal guess. This isn't facts. This isn't none of that. The truth is WWE probably has a little bit of favoritism towards Montez Ford, and what that often leads to is somebody like Angelo Dawkins kind of falling to the wayside. And look at Otis and Tucker, right?
Yeah.
I want to say that was his name, but Tucker ends up getting released. Otis was obviously kind of the favorite out of that group, Heavy Machinery, and he sticks around, and they continuously find things for him to do. He's obviously very entertaining. You can kind of make that same comparison to Montez Ford. Very entertaining, obviously looks great. The dude is outstanding. Could be the poster boy of WWE if WWE wanted to move it that way. Angelo Dawkins, on the other hand, maybe not so much, right? Obviously, we know Angelo Dawkins is beyond talented. The guy is amazing at everything that he does. We've seen it numerous time again. It would be foolish of WWE to let somebody like Angelo Dawkins go. But at the end of the day, WWE often tends to do something like that because, hey, maybe Angelo Dawkins doesn't have that same charisma. We'll use that word that Montez Ford has. So, when you talk about betting on yourself and things of that nature, there is really nothing wrong with it. And it is the best thing to do, especially if hey, maybe these people don't really have the best interest in me and maybe I'm not favored by them. And it's not a hate thing. It's not about money. It's not about anything like that. It strictly is just dude, I trust myself more than I trust a dude in a suit telling me what I'm supposed to be doing. I can correlate that personally to the music business. Numerous times you're told, hey, try this, try that, try that. No, I'm going with my gut, because that's really what it should be. So yeah, I'm done ranting for a minute.
Keep going, sir.
Oh, you want me to keep going? I'll keep going if you need me to. You're over there coughing. You all right?
Yeah, I'm going to go grab a water.
Oh, okay.
Be right back.
Hey, y'all. It's messed up, dude. I'll be honest with you guys. we're talking about chilling, all these things. I'll be a little laid back for a second. I don't have the actual stream popped up on my screen, so I can't see what you guys are saying. Ango's moving me like the blind. I'm being led right now, so I can't see what you guys are saying. So you guys could be talking the illest crap about me right now, and I wouldn't even know. So if you guys are saying things in the chat, I ask you to politely stop because I can't see. I am blind right now. So I do hope that everybody is doing well, though. I truly do. And man, I must say, yeah, I'm stumbled. I'm stuck. It's a random Tuesday. Ango's got me up here again, leading over on his channel. He's got me leading, and that's impeccable. That is a crazy ask of somebody at 12:40 on a random Tuesday in October. Big news, guys! I ordered glasses. Yeah, people are probably leaving. Oh no. I got some glasses. They're on their way. I found out the other day that I am actually blind. Not like legitimately, but like this eye can't see nothing. The prescription is crazy, out of this world. And if you were to ask me about a prescription like 2 years ago, wouldn't have been able to tell you what it is. Have no idea. Finally going to start taking care of myself. Where'd Ango go? He's just gone. Dude just left. That's okay. ADHD, guys, off the wall. And Mountain Dew don't help it. Yeah. What's going on, man?
Hello, sir.
I told them I couldn't see the chat.
Yeah.
And I told them, I said, I hope you guys aren't talking crap about me because I can't see it.
So, dude, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, what's up, man? Oh, well, we were just kind of chatting it up. I said it. I was like, oh man, we're a little more laid back. We're going to be a little more relaxed. So I kind of pulled away from the wrestling stuff for a minute, and I was just kind of chatting with the camera. Again, not being able to see what the chat says. Telling them, I told them some pretty big news. I got glasses that are coming. I can't see, actually blind. Yeah, we were just kind of chatting, man.
Nice, dude.
Hopefully they didn't leave. Yeah, they were probably like, this guy is annoying. Why? We're here for wrestling, dude, and you're talking about your glasses.
Hey, man, sometimes... Hey, that's the thing about live content, bro. Like...
Mm-hmm.
I was freaking out for a minute.
I talk about wrestling all day. But, of course, I'm a little self-conceited, like the next person. I wanted to talk about myself for a minute.
Holy shit. Bro, I was just straight up coughing, like...
Yeah, dude. I hope you got your water, dude. I could have gave you one because, best believe it, I got it right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I keep that thing on me at all times.
I gotta start doing that. I don't know why I don't, but I'll learn.
Yeah, I always got a water on me. It's important. Drink your water, guys.
Yeah, drink your water, bro. I've been so dehydrated.
You know, it wasn't until my girlfriend that she was like, you need to put some water in your body and get healthy. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. It's probably important, huh?
I drink a lot of water, but to be honest with you, I was just freaking dry throat.
A little dehydrated?
Dry throat, dehydrated.
Yeah, you wanted that 60-degree weather so bad. Look at you.
I know, right? Holy shit. Don't manifest anything. I'm not sick right now, so...
Nah, bro, you're good. You're chilling.
We did get some super chats I did want to read.
Yeah, let's run through them, dude. They probably hate me because I should have answered those while you were not with us.
No, it's okay. Tolino Channel dropped the first one for 100 Indian rupees. He says, currently I don't invest very much in the stars that WWE are not invested in. Carrie and Dakota are all gone now, but with Oba, Trick to main, unloading follow. Actually, I think this is a very good point. WWE is basically telling you on TV who to invest in.
For sure, yeah. They tell you all day.
Some people just naturally have it, though. I think like Obafemi is a perfect example. It's like we knew on day one. We're like, oh, fuck.
For sure, yeah. Like, this guy is the guy.
Bro.
You could look at him and tell.
You could just tell, other than the way they present him through booking and stuff. So I think that's actually a fun little topic to talk about, right? Because it kind of goes back to like certain people like leaving and taking a shot elsewhere. But you could just tell in wrestling who's the okay. I think a perfect example of this. TNA was so smart with how they pushed Joe Hendry initially. They were basically telling you.
Okay, yes.
They were basically telling you Joe Hendry's going to be the guy. Then what ends up happening is you look at AEW. And for a while, it took a minute. But Swerve Strickland,
for sure,
they started putting him in higher profile feuds and storylines. That kind of became a thing where it was like, oh shit, like, yeah, you're telling me to invest in Swerve. And then in WWE, Oba Femi is like the perfect example. Oba Femi, Trick Williams, honestly, JC Jane, like,
example of like JC Jane is a perfect example. Yeah.
So when you
see somebody who WWE's like, invest in them.
Yeah. They
go ahead.
What's the word that I'm looking for? It's you can't script it by any means, but I feel like it's like they're naturally, what's the word? Like they're telling you how it's going to be. And the only way I feel like they changed their answer is like when you see like the LA Knight situation.
Correct. You know? Yes. It's kind of funny, right? Because when you think about it, like JC Jane, for example, like me or you would have never guessed that she would be getting the outpour that she is getting now. If you were, when she beat Stephanie, you would have never guessed, because I think we all went into that match. Even me, you know, we went into that match like, oh yeah, Stephanie's, you know, probably going to retain this. Eventually they're going to pull her up to the main roster, whatever, but she'll beat JC Jane, no problem. But obviously she doesn't, and whatever. At the end of the day, I think, you know, when we're talking about like, you know, seeing it, right? Obviously WWE sees it a little bit before we do, but there's also this level of WWE, they have to put that trust in somebody, you know what I'm saying? So to go out and give that trust to somebody like JC Jane, they couldn't have predicted that she was going to be loved or hated the way that she is now. Yeah. They could have never done that. All they could go off of was, okay, we see a little bit of charisma in you and we think you got something and we're just going to let you run with it. Now, obviously, we're seeing that she's very hated. I can't stand JC Jane. That means she's doing her job. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And she's doing it right. She's getting some type of reaction from me in the first place. You know, so as much as we say like, oh yeah, like WWE knows and they're kind of telling you who to invest in, they do that. But kind of going back to what you said about Joe Hendry, if you take a look, Joe Hendry's reaction isn't the same as it was in when it first all like kickstarted, right? Yeah. He obviously lost the title. Then you kind of find out that, okay, maybe Joe Hendry's kind of running with the same shtick, you know, and nothing's changing, right? So when nothing changes, it becomes a little dry. And now, whether that's true or not, I'm not going to have that discussion, but all I'm saying is that eventually things will die down, and it's what that person does after that is really telling to the character themselves. I don't know, maybe I just ranted there for a minute, but the point that I'm trying to make is, you know, WWE, they can only put that trust so far without the person actually having to go out and do it themselves.
So this is where Tolino Channel kind of makes a really good point in his super chat, though, because he says, I don't invest very much in the stars that WWE are not invested in. That is kind of opposite of how the IWC works. The IWC loves telling the wrestling companies who they should push because we have our favorites. There's certain things we like, whatever. And I actually just want to be very clear. I actually agree with that. I agree with the way IWC works as far as that goes. You have to acknowledge, logically speaking, not everybody could be pushed. We know that. And I'm very aware.
Correct.
I like Santos Escobar a lot. I think he's super talented. But he's a perfect example of like, okay, you're 41 years old. I know age doesn't really matter in today's day and age with professional wrestling, but there's already
you have to look at it.
There's already so many people ahead of you, especially at a younger age. How can you compete with them to get to that top spot? Like let's be realistic. If you're priming somebody for a top spot at WrestleMania, You see a young kid like Braun Breaker, or you see a person like Santos Escobar. One is going to be
you're going to go with Braun
for your
Breaker
future.
every day.
Yeah, because for your future, it's the right thing to invest in.
Right.
So,
and rather than Santos kind of getting the one-off.
If it were. That's
what I'm saying. If it were.
Exactly. So I kind of see what Tolino Channel means. But shout out to Tolino Channel for that super chat. Zachary dropped a super chat for $4.99. He says, let's be grateful that there is a very healthy industry. WWE, AEW, TNA, MLW, GCW are all flourishing. Talent have options, fans have options, no tribalism. Yeah, I mean, tribalism will never go away in pro wrestling because, I mean, it's like, I forgot who said it. I know we talked about this on a live stream before, but wrestling fans are outsiders, man. Like there's even though it's trying, WWE and AEW are trying to make it this mainstream thing, which it is. It's definitely becoming more mainstream.
We are outsiders at the end of the day.
We are still outsiders. This is not, listen, I mean, I see even myself sometimes. Like yesterday I was watching basketball and I was watching WWE. And I love that because I was like, that's what I've been, obviously, you guys know what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for the cold weather to watch sports. And like, for me, it's like, I love basketball so much. I love watching the Pistons and I love wrestling. There might be a time where there's a Pistons game on a Monday night and it's like, do I want to go to the Pistons game?
And you choose the Pistons.
Yeah. It's just how it is. Wrestling is it's popular and yes, it's doing great and it's flourishing. But wrestling doesn't take priority in everything in life. And even though this is my job and it's my full-time thing and I love it, it
doesn't mean it's the end all be all to everything.
Yes. And I think that's the thing about the professional wrestling industry today. There's a lot of people for some reason, man, they're so attached to these brands and I don't get it. I never understood it, but like, I think I have to remind myself, like, this is not as bad as it was when it was,
Can I be like quite honest with you? Like when we talk about this, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when we talk about this, all I could think of is like the genuine couch potato, right? Like the real person who like sits on a couch and like just lives, breathes, sleeps pro wrestling. Yeah. And like, and I can imagine people compare us to that sometimes. And it's like, dude, that's so far from the truth that it's almost sickening. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, no, it is not the end all be all to life. And that's really what I think about because some people, truth be told, are really like that. Like there is somebody who really has attached their whole identity to professional wrestling.
And listen, I have no problem with those people that do that. But do not be mad at us or me specifically because we don't share the same views.
Thank you for picking that up. Yes, don't be mad at me because I'm not.
Yeah, like it's not. And the reason why I'm glad it's not like that is because I see how detrimental it is to myself. Personally speaking, it's already a lot to deal with when you're on multiple platforms making content. And I love it. I love it so much, right? But the thing is, when you love something so much, something that is even something that is good for you, having too much of it could be bad for you. You know?
Correct. Brother, I touch grass. I don't know about you.
I mean, it's not about touching grass or not touching grass, Billy. I think a lot of the people deep down inside really do live normal lives. But I do think there's a lot of people out there. I think there's a lot of people out there. Holy shit, bro. Oh my God.
This guy. You're going to get it out. Come on, you got it.
I think there is a lot of people out there who deep down inside, they, just like us, live normal lives.
Absolutely.
Wrestling, AEW, being a fan, this and that, it's not, to me personally, it's not an identity trait. It's not a personality trait. My identity is not the wrestling company I watch. And the reason for that is because I do enjoy, and I think Zachary just kind of hit the nail on the coffin. He just dropped a super chat for $1.99. He says, support your favorite wrestlers, not your company. Simple. And I feel like that's me. And it just so happens, obviously, it's like, it just so happens that, like, you know, WWE being the only place in town is bad. And I say it's bad for business. It's bad for the industry.
Yeah.
People want WWE to die. And I'm like, I
No.
I would really hope that the billion-dollar company doesn't die, because if they die,
right, if they're gone, then everybody else is gone.
The investors and advertisers sure as hell don't want the thing that's smaller than them. You don't want the biggest thing to die. You know what I mean? Because then it's like you need them to survive and do good. To be honest with you,
once the big thing crumbles, then everything crumbles around it.
if you're Tony Khan, you want WWE to do well, because if WWE, which is true, why? Because if WWE is getting these big TV deals and WWE, if Paramount, for example, can't sign WWE to a TV deal, but they're like, yo, AEW is like the alternative, and hey, they're not as big as WWE, but they have a really good loyal audience. You know what? We'll pay the money for them. We want the second best
because
thing.
a market's still going to exist for AEW because of WWE.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just the truth, guys. Yeah. Just the truth.
Shout out to
think about when WWE. I'm sorry, I just want to make this one point. Think about in 2018 and 19 when everybody really struggled with WWE at the time, and you ultimately switched, but you still kept up with WWE. WWE was still the leader in the forefront of everything that was happening, but you were now getting the chance to go watch this alternative and make a decision whether you like the one thing or not. But it's because of that one thing, WWE, that the other thing came about in the first place. And that's the only point that I want to make. So sorry for that.
No, you're good. Yeah, shout out to Zachary for those super chats, by the way. I know there was another one from Tolino Channel. Where was it?
Whoa.
You guys are moving so fast. Darth Bane became a member for 12 months, by the way. He said Oba should answer Sammy's open challenge and win. I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, I feel like I talked about that recently, but yeah, that'd be super cool. I'm so fine with that. Who wouldn't be?
But what do you build for the U.S. title feud?
What'd you say?
What do you build for the U.S. title feud for Oba?
Like when it goes like if Oba wins?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's like numerous, there's so many directions. I think, me personally, I'd put Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre in the mix. Like, obviously, they're getting ready to do something, whatever. I feel like those two and Oba, dude, come on, that would eat for days. Yeah. Obviously, Solo Sikoa being a part of the mix, like, you can still run with those guys, and you just bring Oba Femi into the mix, being this dominant guy that nobody's going to be able to stop even on the main roster. But give him some good storylines. Give him one with Drew, give him one with Jacob, give him one with Solo, whatever. Kind of how he has been now, to where, Oba's kind of like, he's not really the good guy, he's not really the bad guy, he's just the dominant guy. You know what I mean? Oba Femi's this monster that nobody can really take down. Finally, Ricky Saints did, but even before then, like Javon Evans couldn't. Who else? Josh Briggs couldn't. Like, there were so many different names. So he was never really this good guy or bad guy. He was just the dominant guy. Like, I just run this place. I am him, literally. And I think he could do that. I think he could do that, quite literally.
I agree. Tolino Channel dropped a super chat last night. 100 Indian rupees, by the way. He says, last night Raw was interesting. Plot the story mode is back. Seth Cody is now crucial for Seth. OG tribal family. Also Maxine Dupree impressed. Really, really, really quick. Let's talk about Maxine Dupree.
Yeah, let's do it.
Maxine Dupree wins against Becky Lynch and probably has her best match that she's ever had in her entire life. What do you make of this, Billy? Is Maxine Dupree going to actually get a legitimate singles push in WWE? Is there something that WWE could do? Because Maxine was cooking last night, and obviously it doesn't happen without Becky, but that was a very big surprise on Monday Night Raw. What was your reaction to that?
So my reaction, first of all, shout out to the Heart Dungeons. Shout out to Natalia, who has obviously been helping Maxine kind of work herself into the system and whatnot, and really making it to where she can go on and put on these kind of matches. Obviously, you guys know the Heart Dungeon. That's a very special place. But watching the show last night, the first thing that I thought of was Maxine, dude, has the look. She really does. WWE, of course, wants somebody like Maxine Dupree to be like a legitimate star. You know what I mean? They want her to go put on bangers matches like she did yesterday. And obviously, you can't talk about Maxine in the banger match without Becky Lynch. We'll just leave that right there. Becky Lynch made that, what it was. But obviously, Maxine Dupree is somebody that, again, WWE, kind of going back to the conversation earlier, WWE is, they're telling me, okay, invest a little bit in her. Think about what she's doing. Have these conversations like we're having now about her, because something's coming. So to answer your question very quickly, Yeah, WWE is. I do believe that they are trying to tell me something, because if they weren't, they wouldn't have did what they did yesterday, and they would have just kind of let it be another match that was just kind of swept under the rug.
She was impressive, man.
She was.
You could
She very
see,
much was,
you
and
know,
and I love the match too.
what I love so much too, by the way. So Maxine beats Becky Lynch. Obviously, this is a very big deal because it is the best win of her career. But my favorite part about this is Maxine was somebody who got ridiculed all over social media for her in-ring ability. The fans turned their back on her real quick. They made it very clear that she's not good. And she doesn't sit there and she doesn't complain about the fans. She doesn't run her mouth on social media or in interviews. She honestly goes back to the dungeon with Natalya and everybody, and she puts in the work and trains and gets better and better and better. And listen, I don't know if Maxine's going to be the next breakout star of WWE, but she is the perfect example of somebody who listened to the criticism, listened to the hatred, and fueled her. And this was the best she has ever looked. Honestly, that's insanely awesome to see. There's a lot of people who in today's world would be like, oh, you're a hater. And they would be focused on the words. And instead of that, instead of focusing on that, they could actually get better, but they choose not to. Maxine chose to get better. We're seeing it in front of our eyes.
It's taking the criticism, man. Taking that criticism, that is the number one thing that people can do. When you look at criticism as a human being and you don't look at it from a hatred standpoint and rather a constructive standpoint, you're always going to succeed. Another good example of that is Raquel, right? Raquel obviously got the criticism from Kevin Nash, and instead of complaining about it, crying about it, saying, oh, I hate this guy, whatever, he's just a podcaster, right? No, she didn't say a word. She just changed. She just did what he said. She listened. And maybe she didn't do every single thing to, whatever. No, she just did it. And I love that. And I think that's kind of, going back to what you were saying about Maxine, it really is cool that instead of just going on the internet and tweeting and saying, oh, I can't believe you guys feel this way about me, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm about to go put in the hours because, I think it's true in everything that you do. What is it? The 100 hours rule or whatever. I can't even remember, the 10,000 hours. Like, nobody's truly perfect at the end of the day, and people will continuously make mistakes. But the only way to get better is to go out and actually get better. And she did that, and that's so awesome, man. I love it for her. I truly do, Obviously, she hasn't been portrayed the best on WWE TV, and, they're going out and trying to change that a little bit and make it to where, hey, respect her and understand that she will be good. I love it. I love it, man.
Yeah. I just want to share something with you really quick.
Please.
AEW star Roosh is actually teasing something pretty big, which obviously now that we know Santos Escobar could potentially be leaving.
I was about to say, yep.
We know that Santos is leaving WWE. He could technically show up tonight on Dynamite for Title Tuesday. Roosh just came out with a tweet and he says, the time will come for LFI to get bigger. We will rule the world. And then he has the hourglass emoji. So what do you think? Santos joining LFI, Santos joining Don Callis family, Santos going to AEW and being solo?
I would prefer he joined LFI. I want to make that clear. But Santos tweeted something out recently. He was like standing on the balcony, right? I could be wrong.
Yeah, with the hourglass emoji.
Yeah, okay. So obviously there's your correlation right there. So boom. Yeah, I could see it all day long. So how funny would that be if we get Santos Escobar on AEW TV tonight? Dude flew to wherever they're at, signed his contract, all good to go. Good for him, dude. If that is the case, I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy for him.
I don't know if I want to
join
LFI.
Well, I mean, understandably so. Like I said, it's betting on yourself, and obviously you still have a boss no matter where you go, so you can only bet on yourself so far.
Betting on yourself to go from one faction to another. Come on, bro.
Correct. Again,
come on.
You still got a boss, and if your boss feels that you need to be a part of LFI, guess what you got to go do?
Yeah. Shout out to Toledo channel, by the way, for that super chat. Right hand Cam dropped a $2 super chat. He said, "F the Pistons. It's all about the Miami Heat." I think we should just sit here and laugh.
You see this?
Detroit
I know you see it, right?
Basketball.
Come on, baby. The Tigers are in the ALDS. The Lions are running rampant. Come on, man. The Pistons, Cade Cunningham had that sweet layup yesterday. I'm not sure. It was supposed to be an alley-oop, and he just reversed it. That was nuts.
Cam, I can't
Yeah.
believe you would waste $2 just to tell us about the Miami Heat. It's not about the Miami Heat, baby.
And then we're gonna sit here and talk about the Pistons.
Yeah, dude. You messed up on that one. It's gonna be
You tried telling us about the Miami Heat, and we're gonna have a conversation with you about the Pistons. Sorry, brother.
Detroit basketball.
Oh, hey. Come on now. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, you know, basketball. I mean, this is so out of context with wrestling, but
I know.
Cade was looking good. Jade and Ivy.
Sweet.
We'll see what happens with him this year. Ron Holland looking good. Asar Thompson. They're gonna be third seed.
Yep.
Third seed.
Yep.
So
I agree. No argument, brother. No argument. You know I'm not gonna argue with you about the Pistons. Come on now.
yeah, I kind of sometimes I think about just starting a Pistons podcast too because it'd be fun. But
Come on, man. What's up?
Detroit basketball.
Hey. We should add a half hour, the sports hour or whatever, to our live stream. That'd be fire.
I don't know if people would want that. Would the people want that?
I don't think that. I don't know if they would either, but it'd be fire.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I will say, people who watch wrestling also watch sports. We know this by looking at the ratings and everything.
I'm here to tell you, I have a fantasy football league with my wrestling people. So it is true. They do.
Cam,
they do watch
I forgot
sports.
You're from Michigan. Dude,
he's not. Yeah, dude, he's actually pretty close.
Damn it.
That's why I can't believe it. I cannot believe that Cam said that.
Nah, that's crazy. That ass actually.
It
crazy.
is.
Yeah, the reason why that's crazy too, if you think about it, the Pistons have gone through shit for like 10 years, 12 years.
Yeah.
And they're finally getting good again. Last year they made the playoffs. This year they're going to be one of the top teams. And he just turned his back on us.
Yeah, dude. Crazy. Couldn't stick it out through them hard years. I understand. But I don't at the same time.
Cam,
it's a shame.
I'm disappointed. But I appreciate your super chat. I appreciate it. But I am disappointed.
Thanks for the $2, player.
Yeah, thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
That's funny. Funny stuff.
That's funny. Bro, I think this is the perfect way to end. It's 107.
Yeah, dude.
Honestly, I just feel like coughing a little bit more, so and I don't want you guys to hear me cough a million times, but
yeah, because I'll get to rambling about like my dentist appointment on Thursday or something like that.
Tomorrow will be a fun live stream because Title Tuesday versus Showdown.
Yeah, TNA and NXT, correct.
By the way, I just really want to point this shit out because if you guys, oops, I did not mean to do that. If you guys couldn't see right here, we have the nordvpn.com/Ango. Like right there. You know what I mean? It's right there on the screen. If you guys can't see that, you guys, I mean, let's just be real. You don't gotta, Netflix international viewers, NXT, Raw, SmackDown, PLEs, probably should check that out.
I'm a viewer in Canada.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm a viewer here in the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango show. Brother. Appreciate y'all coming through. Thanks for hitting the super chat goal. Shout out to Billy. Billy, are you doing watch along tonight? What are you doing?
Yes, real fast.
Hold on. We're gonna keep you accountable. Oh. Are you going live?
What'd you say?
Are you going live tonight?
So, real fast, I do want to say, yes, guys, I will be live tonight. I do want to apologize for all the viewers who do tune in to me because I haven't been as of recent. So I'm going to hold myself accountable, and you guys can hold me accountable as well. I haven't been. I will be tonight. We'll be live at 8 p.m. We're going to be watching NXT and TNA. I do want to specify that. But yeah, we will be there, and I apologize for not showing up and not being there, but I will be tonight. That's it.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy TKO, make sure you guys click subscribe. With that being said, that is the Ango Show. Thank you all so much for joining us and watching us and being there tonight. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you guys next time.